whether Nagas should lead the demand for sovereignty and then accept something. If you read very carefully, the framework agreement of 3rd August 2015 and agreed position of 17 November 2017, those people who were demanding sovereignty, they have realized that under the present contemporary political context, this is not possible.
A very happy National Press Day to everyone. I am extremely overwhelmed and find immense pleasure in introducing our honorable special guest, Padma Bhushan Dr. S.C. Jamir, former Governor of Goa, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Odisha, and also the former Chief Minister of our state, Nagaland. Your presence is a great blessing. As I read out the names, I would kindly request all of us to just say a word of prayer in your heart. On November 12, 2021, K. Philip Sumi, associated with the Nagaland Post and the Morung Express, and also the president of Dimapur Press Club, passed away. On October 27, 2021, senior photojournalist Suresh Mahong passed away. On August 12, 2021, Limai Pom, proprietor and former editor Nagamis Khopor, passed away. Ramnava Sen Gupta, who was associated with Nagaland Post and Nagaland Today as a journalist, breathed his last on September 8, 2021 in New Delhi. Dilip Kumar Pradhan, who has been associated with the Morung Express since April 2011, passed away on April 10, 2021. Shall we all stand on our feet with our head bowed down and observe a minute of silence in honor and memory of the deceased?
Less than a week ago, the DPC executive we actually struggled for 2 days to find a guest speaker for today. When the name of Padma Bhushan Dr. A.C. Jamir was proposed, our biggest concern was the time. It was on such a short notice, so we were unanimous that there was no better candidate than him to speak to us today. So we anyway decided to approach him. So it speaks volume of the person that he is, that he granted us not just once but twice audience in 2 days.
We always talk about that the world is moving very fast, particularly the development in science and technology, especially information technology, is developing at a very fast rate. And all of us are part of that century and part of that civilization. And therefore, modern societies have become information societies. Now, in every individual, we have mobile. In other words, you are holding the whole world in your hand. And that is the kind of society in which we live. Every citizen are equally interested to get latest information, not only of the country, but the whole world. But this information should be comprehensive, accurate, and as far as fair. Now in this situation, the idea of right to information has become paramount in our society. But we should remember that the fundamental rights provided in the Constitution of India and also constitutions of democratic world, nothing has been given without check. In other words, no right is untrampled, the restriction. All rights are subjected to certain code of conduct. And where the first limit has to be imposed on this freedom of information and speech. There are very important restrictions in our Constitution, and that is security, decency, and morality. So it is a freedom of press, freedom of expression. There are areas where we cannot go beyond the freedom, and that is the code which laid down in our Constitution. We are all living in democracy, and as we know, democracy entails the balancing of rights and privileges with reference to your duties and responsibilities. In democracy, we are free, no doubt, but our privileges, our rights have to be matched with our obligation, with our responsibility. And that is the beauty of the fundamental rights provided in the Constitution of India. In a totalitarian setup, the people and the press are regulated by whom? By government. Whatever you should do, whatever you should not do, all these are regulated by the government. Whereas in democracy, it has to be regulated by society. And therefore, restriction to this have to emanate from the society itself. It is not imposed, but it is inbuilt in society to regulate and restrain which we have to exercise in the freedom. That's the one thing. Now, freedom of expression is, you said, is also dangerous. When it goes beyond, I think it becomes dangerous. Now, long time, one judge said, when the press is the echo of the sages or wise men, echo of the sages or wise men and reformers, then press works very well. But when it is the echo of turbulent cynics, then it merely fits political excitement. I think that is the condition in which our press have to work. Another thing is the thorny relationship between press and government has been debated, discussed, deliberated on all occasions, and various commentaries were made by different commentators and writers. But what is important today is the relationship between newspaper and the people. Why I'm saying this? Very often we focus on emotional or like that news. But if newspaper focus its attention on the welfare of the common man, to highlight the problem of people instead of the speeches of politicians. But if you focus that problem of the people, common man, then your press will grow very popular. But if you focus only on political personalities, it confines only to that. But when people feel that their interests are also highlighted, their difficulties are also highlighted, then the press will become very important and popular. I think people will not be afraid of your press. They'll only admire your functioning. So your theme is, who is not afraid of the press? But I'm not afraid. Why? Because the press, when it delivers justice, when it can really speak out on behalf of the downtrodden, why should we be afraid of the press? Rather, we should admire the press. I don't know why you have given the theme. Who is not afraid of the press? I can understand. I think you don't create that kind of fear psychosis in the minds of the people. You only enlighten, educate. But how can you say that who is not afraid of the press? I don't understand. May I take this opportunity to tell you, now lots of advertisement, I hope, rich people, industrialists, government. And this has resulted in brainwashing. Everything is painted in a very positive aspect. They think it's a dreamland, but they say it's a reality. And everything is exaggerated in advertisement. And people accept it. So it tends to brainwash the people, making people to believe that in this world, only rich people, industrialists live. So he's poor, but because of that brainwashing, he believes that only Western people are civilized, only rich people are civilized. I think this trend also has to be arrested. It is my firm appeal to you that you should be the echo of sages, wise men, and reformers, rather than the echo of the turbulent saints. That is about the press. But this is a very rare opportunity for all men like me to interact with the enlightened press fraternity in this state. I have many things to speak up. And as an old man, I don't represent any group. I represent myself. And therefore, my expression, if there's any, they should only criticize me. They should not blame anybody. That's one. Secondly, I want to speak only truth, nothing but truth according to my message. And I want to share my vision of Nagaland. Today we are living in a very confused society. People are in darkness. Whether it is government, whether it is underground, whether it is churches in Nagaland, I think nobody can say that we are going to that direction. No one can say. And what is the special, peculiar features of Nagaland? Number one, though we talk about 21st century, we talk about scientific, technological development, we talk about advancement, digital age, and so on and so forth. But our people are too much obsessed to the past. I have been telling on several occasions to young people that there are millions and millions of yesterdays have already gone by. And it will continue to go. Millions and millions of tomorrows also will go, vanish. And you'll never come back because they merge with eternity. But one is always with you, and that is today. Today is a permanent friend. Today is a permanent asset for us. And today is the most important day for us to perform. The other day I have been telling our community that Nagas are rearing three animals. Egg, monkey, which is very primitive. Secondly, we are also rearing another animal which is called donkey. Very conservative. Very conservative. And another animal were tiger. Violence. These three Nagas have not been able to kill even today. That is the reason why we are not moving forward because of egg and donkey. We have not been able to restore peace because of tiger being reared in our heart, in our society, and everywhere. So unless and until we kill these three animals, then Nagaland will remain as we are today. And therefore, I call upon the press community, fraternity, to tell our people that we are living not in 19th century, not in 20th century, but we are living in the 21st century and we are preparing for 22nd century. I think Nagas should also have forward-looking attitude, forward-looking thinking, vision. Another thing is, we all talk about politics, politics is everything for us. And by talking politics, we have completely neglected economic development. We have completely neglected social reformation. We have completely neglected our cultural enlightenment. And what kind of situation in which we are living today, all of us are aware of it. But since we are living in that atmosphere, we are not feeling. It has become part of us. And why not? We escape from this dangerous trend, the climate prevailing in Nagaland as well. People talk about identities. Then there's different interpretation of identities. But I personally feel that Nagas have got two identities. One is Naga identity and the other is Christian identity. What Naga identity manifests? What are those elements contained in this Naga identity? Honesty, bravery, courage, and endurance. Even though the situation was so bad in 56, no one ran away from Nagaland. No refugee. Nagas could undergo, endure that kind of action. And that is our identity. And what is this Christian identity? Love, peace, goodwill, and harmony. So Nagas have got beautiful, I think, assets. But today people would like to say, this is Naga identity. No. Naga identity we have already have with us. You don't record any definition, new definition of Naga identity. We can tell Naga identity, honesty is our identity. Courage, bravery, endurance is our purpose. Nagas believe in peace, in love, harmony. Because the angel of the Lord, when they appeared during Christmas, I bring you good tidings of great joy. And what is that joy? Peace on earth and goodwill among men. This are our identities. Now we have been talking to him for so many years about politics. And I believe God has provided an opportunity this time. But because of our negative approach to everything, we look everything from George's eyes. I don't somehow. We talk so much of unity, but we are dividing, redividing, that is. We talk so much of this peace, but killing each other. So this negativism have to give way to positivism. Now, after so many years of negotiation for political solution, I think the leaders of the underground, I think we should also be grateful to them. Even though they are subjected to only one idea, during these long years of negotiation, they are exposed to modern civilization. They have seen the contemporary realities in politics, in economics, and everything in life. In their own wisdom and with their political foresight, they also have accepted the reality of the world, the reality of Indian society, the reality of Naga society. And they have also recognized the unique position of India in geopolitical international affairs. So they have agreed to sign two agreements known as Framework Agreement of 3rd August 2015 between NSCN, IM and Government of India in the presence of the Prime Minister of India, Home Minister was there. And I was carefully reading the statement of Prime Minister on that day. What did he say? I welcome the leaders of the underground for joining the mainstream of Indian polity. What does it mean by Indian polity? That means we are part and parcel of this great nation. Our system have to be regulated according to the Constitution of India. The laws of the land have to be our laws. And there, in even agreed position, which they have signed on 17 November 2017, they have not mentioned neither sovereignty nor integration. We don't see this in both agreements. Why? They have realized, recognized the contemporary political values. And I believe both the leaders of the underground and government, they have drawn up this agreement in the best interest of the people of Nagaland and government. But unfortunately, lots of interpretations are given. But as the public, as the people, even though they have not consulted us, we believe that they have done the very best for the people of Nagaland and for the future. Why not? We also explicitly express our agreement to the various development competencies thrown up with. We believe these are in our interest. And why don't we share the burden of those underground leaders who have not the courage to tell them we have done this? So it's good, but they have not been able to spell down that this is the thing which we can do under the present prevailing contemporary situation. I think Naga people, we are politically conscious. We shall accept what is real. And we are not asking people to accept what is not real. Is it not the time? The Naga people come forward, wake up to see the reality of the situation in the country, in the world, in Nagaland. The younger generation, they have got the potentialities to survive, to work, to compete. But where is the space for them? No space. Why? Normalcy is not there. And we are living in a very confused governance. Since there are so many authorities in Portugal higher than the Chief Minister. Nagaland is the land of Prime Ministers, Commander-in-Chief, Presidents, but elected government is, the highest one is only Chief Minister. So protocol-wise, I think we have totally undermined the constitutional authority, and thereby we have made their main backbone. Because of today, it's very difficult to make out whether it is black or white, very difficult. And no one has got the courage that we are living in an abnormal situation. And therefore, I therefore appeal to the people of Nagaland as an old man on my own behalf and convey to you that Naga people must wake up, see the reality, and march hand in hand with the rest of the people of the country, and we should make Nagaland as a model state. In this, I would like to urge upon the press fraternity to make yourself the messenger of truthfulness, the messengers of reality, and the messengers of unity among Naga people. As an old man, whatever I have said, I take the full responsibility because I have nothing against anybody, but I love Naga people. And I hope God will open up the eyes and minds of Naga people, including the Jewish leaders. With these few words, I want to thank you very much for inviting me to this great occasion. Thank you, Jai Hind, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
press club meeting, or whether it's the office meeting, or whether it's for the church or any organization, or even for, in that matter, even for the family or for the clan, everything is so separated and alienated that warmth of human conversation is missing. That's what I feel. And so in the process, the storytelling of truth, I miss that very much. And we are so obsessed with getting the facts right that sometimes that human truth is missing in our conversations. So I would like to take this opportunity to get some wisdom. Like, how do we also build that gap between being obsessed with the facts and living a life of truth?
Why I have said that people are obsessed with the past, it shows that we don't know what we are going to do for the present. I think that's one of the reasons we don't have any idea how to proceed, how to move forward. That's why, as an excuse, we're always talking about past history, because we have become, I think, a prophet of the past, not for the future. I think that is a whole trouble with our people, because those people who like to speak up also, they are afraid, because the Democratic sort of, I think, fair psychosis has been on Naga society for few decades, that has crushed the Naga bravery, that has crushed the Naga honesty. And therefore, because of this, I think people have to now talk about the past, which will not be controversial. The word controversy, I think they are only relying on the past history. That's what I could feel.
Dr. Jamir, you spoke about, Nagas living in the past, so to speak. And you have given your explanations, how you feel, why it is so. But is it also, does it also reveal our collective psychological profile? And can you help us understand why Nagas feel the necessity to take shelter and find some kind of security in the past? Today it is not just about politics, economics and ideology and things like that, but also our psychology and what has made us come to this point. Was it always there among Nagas, or is it something we developed? The need to take shelter in the past.
I am always proud of what our forefathers have done in their own time. As for example, now politicians both overthrown and even almost all the ho-hos, they talk about 1929, this Supreme Commission. I'm only giving this concrete example. Yes, at that point of time, who have submitted the memorandum, they have done whatever is the best for Naga people at that point of time. But that was the time when Britishers were administering these hills, small hills. And not only that, the bulk of the entire Naga hills, Nagaland today, they were treated as an administered area. Even Tuisang headquarters was established only in 1948, and therefore in 1929 is no longer 2021. What was relevant in 1929 cannot be relevant as of today. Yes, the spirit we can take, but the situation, everything has changed. No more British power is there. No more hills. It's a Nagaland now. So in this changed situation, if we go on talking about the past of 1925, I don't think this will help us. That's why I said, why should we be so obsessed with the past which our forefathers have done the best in their time? Why not we do a new history and a better history than 1929 with our forefathers have done? Why are we talking about our forefathers? Why don't we talk about ourselves? What we have done, what we have achieved? That's one. We don't just talk about 1951 the plebiscite. Yes, that time under refusal leadership, he has, I think, created that political consciousness. We were in high school. Even our teachers didn't know the even very word plebiscite. So they used to try to find out in dictionary at that time. But Fizu had that political idea of being felt at that time. So whatever was possible, whatever was best at that point of time, he has done. He has achieved his goal. At least he has awakened the consciousness that we are one. And therefore, I said, why only talking about what other people have done? Should we not talk what we are going to do, what we are going to achieve, and what we are going to frame up? That's why I said, Naga should not be too obsessed only with the past. Since we are living in the present, let us do something better than what our forefathers have done. And today, we should fully utilize this opportunity when we are now capable of doing it. Because Nagas are second to none, but they can do it. But where is the opportunity? Where is the space? This is that we created. So who will do it? It is we, Naga alone can create it. Delhi will not be able to create it, nor this other people. It is the Naga people themselves create an environment, a situation where they can develop themselves. That's what I feel.
Sir, we understand that 16-point agreement was your idea that led to creation of Nagaland in order to solve the Naga political problem some years ago. Still, we are struggling to solve the same Naga political problem. And besides the signing of the framework agreement and the agreed position between the Naga political groups and government of India, still we are not in position to solve the Naga political problems. So as you have prescribed the idea of 16-point agreement in 1960 to solve the Naga political problem, do you have any new idea today to solve the Naga problem, Naga political problem, which could not solve even by the framework agreement and agreed position?
Excuse me, Duncan, can I have? I think you will need to answer this together, therefore I interrupt. I apologize. But to deal from where we stand, this, we stand on the platform of 2021. Can you help us, or what is your definition of the Naga problem? What is Naga problem? How would you? Naga problem. Yeah. And I think it is related to the question he has asked.
I am glad that you have raised the issue or the subject matter of this 16-point agreement. Because there are lots of misinterpretation, misunderstanding about this 16-point agreement. Naga people have started demanding a separate homeland. And Naga National Council's objective was to pursue that objective through non-violence and peace. But a time came when Naga Gandhar soldiers do this violence, especially in Odisha. Then it spread to Naga Hills. Then in aid of civil power, there are some government deployed Indian security forces in the later part of 1954. Then from 54, 55, 56, the condition in Nagaland was terrible. Houses were burned, granaries were burned, all men folks were herded to jail, remaining engaged in forced labor, clearing this jungle on the both sides of the road, and daily only this forced labor. Cultivation was not possible. Villages were broke, stockated. So virtually all Naga area were in concentration camp. No cultivation, no access to underground, no access among the neighbors. And look, you're brought together also. Then scarcity of food. Then hunger, famine. But Naga refused to take relief from Government of India. So out of disease, many died. And there was no freedom of speech, only fear. Naga public were afraid of underground, they were afraid of army also. So there was nobody who can take care of Naga public at that time, number one. Secondly, even those underground people, since you were completely detached from the public because of stockade, then no food, no ammunition, then who can fight? So they were actually starving in the jungle. At that point of time, we were about to surrender. So the question arose, whether we should remain, again go back to Assam as Naga Hills district of Assam or not. Or we should find another alternative to be away from Assam. These two alternatives were presented before Naga people at that point of time. And few was abroad, unknown, unheard by his own people. And therefore, underground people were also demoralized. They used to tell us, someday should be done, someday should be done, someday should be done. And at that time, government servants and leaders of overground, Kampuras, Tabashis, and overground leaders, they started consulting among themselves whether we should leave the matter as it is and surrender, or we have to find out some other alternative to salvage the hopes and aspirations of the Naga people. So they have chosen one alternative that at all costs we have to redeem the Naga people from this situation. So tribal consultation on tribal level, then at last 1957, 6 representatives of 16 tribes assembled at Kohima, and they started discussing the kind of situation being faced by Naga people, because we were all under this grouping. So after 3-4 days deliberations, certain resolutions was passed. And what was the first resolution? Political resolution. We, the people having assembled here, to resolve that the only way to solve this problem is Naga political solution. Within Indian Union was not included. And another resolution was the grouping of villages and declare amnesty. This was, and thirdly, the most important thing was Naga Hills and Tunsam Front Division of NIFA should be brought together and formed into a separate administrative unit under the Ministry of External Affairs. These were the resolutions. They went to Delhi, discussed. Then what was the resolution? First resolution was Naga Hills and Tunsam area of Tunsam Front Division shall become a single unit which is called NHTA, Naga Hills Tunsam area, as an administrative unit under a commissioner and under External Affairs Ministry. Second one was embassy shall be declared to all the underground. And third one was the grouping our villages. In this way, this is the first step of Naga People's Convention was to create that atmosphere. Second convention, we have appointed, it was in my village, 1958, a liaison committee under the chairmanship of Kivichosa to contact underground. Embassy was declared, so it was free movement was there. 3 months time was given. They couldn't complete because communication was lack also. 6 months was given. After that, on 16 December, if I remember correctly, 1959 or 58, we met in Kohima and to discuss about the report of the liaison committee. And what was the report of the liaison committee? The government of India is not prepared to negotiate on the issue of sovereignty. One. Underground people also, they are not prepared to negotiate other than this independence. These two diametrically opposed views we discussed. What to do? Whether, and if we don't do it, we have to surrender again. So we decided then, let us go ahead to prepare draft. First draft, second draft, third draft. It was circulated. Then go to the ground. And in 1959, at Mokokcho, third convention, this was placed before the representative of 60 tribes. 5 days discussion. The unanimous discussion was, resolution was made to be the basis of negotiating with the government of India. And the outcome of that negotiation is creation of state on the basis of 16-point agreement. And the redeeming feature of that was Nagaland will be under the External Affairs Ministry. And 371A, it was also agreed upon. So these were the features. And I want to enlighten you. We have borrowed this 371A from 9-point agreement of 1947 period NNC and Sir Apartheid. So people say that it's no. We borrow, we take it out. Whatever was done by Naga National Council and make it as constitutional and legal. But people are talking support for something, but 16-point agreement, I think, accommodates whatever was said, done, resolved in 1947 between Naga National Council and Sir Apartheid. We call it Sir Apartheid agreement. So that is, I want to say. Secondly, I think the framework agreement drawn up on 3rd August 2015 and agreed position of 17 November 2017. These are the only possibilities under the present circumstances. And therefore, I think I would urge upon the Naga people not to doubt about the sincerity of the government of India and Naga underground leaders. The only thing which you are raising, sharing sovereignty. I said, what is that? Because nowhere in the constitution of the world is mentioned share sovereignty, neither in constitution of India. You have agreed, you have decided all these competencies, signed consciously, knowingly, officially, formally with the government of India. Whatever relevant points are to be incorporated, it will be in the Indian Constitution after debate by the Indian Parliament. That's one. And under 7th schedule of the Constitution of India, central list, state list, concurrent lists. So sovereign subject can be shared, but sovereignty cannot be shared because sovereignty is like a soul and constitution is the body. Because you cannot touch the soul, you cannot see the soul. But manifestation of sovereignty is constitution. That's why in the preamble, we the people of India, having resolved to constitute India into a secular, social and democratic republic. And we include citizens of the country. Because sovereignty can be owned collectively, but it cannot be owned individually. That is the explanation I have given, and I think we should not confuse about this British English language. Because it is very clear in the Constitution of India, and I think we are clear in our mind also. But why we are telling all this issue, raising this issue, I don't understand. But my view is, whatever they have done, Naga people should support, and underground people also should not make excuses this and that, which is not relevant with the present these countries.
Your statement that what is relevant in the past cannot be relevant now, would not be relevant now. So based on that, I have two questions. So when you say in 1929 or in the 20s, they did what was best for the Nagas. So now in this context, in 2021, in your opinion, what would be best for the Nagas? What is the best solution for the Nagas? The second question is the Armed Forces Special Powers Act still relevant for Nagaland? Because AFSPA, the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, is it still relevant for Nagaland? Because as we can see, and as claimed by even the government, the situation is more peaceful than it was back in the 50s. So, first question is, what do you think is the best solution for us Nagas in this present context? And the second question is, if what is relevant in the past cannot be relevant now, what if we cannot rely on the situation that was in the past to think of situations in the present? Is the AFSPA, the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, still relevant for Nagaland?
If I understood what she said correctly, in a simple language I can tell like this. We should be proud of the past achievement by our forefathers. We are not demeaning the past. We are only telling our people that past is past, because whatever they have done what is best at that point of time. Secondly, now we are living in a very different situation. Our thinking, our mood of living, our mindset, and the developments all over the country, all over the world is quite different. And therefore, if Nagas have to keep abreast with the changes of the time, the changes of the situation, I think we have to develop that modern mind, modern attitude, modern technique in order to be equals with the rest of the people. That's why I said that present, whatever has been done by our leaders in the negotiation for the last so many years, I think we should be proud of that, and we should also support it without any reservation. That's what I have been telling, and I'm always telling to you also.
Sovereignty. When you say there is no concept of shared sovereignty, do you mean Nagas should leave the demand for sovereignty and settle for something else?
What I wanted to ask was, in your opinion, what could be the solution that Nagas should arrive at? The final solution. It's just in your opinion. It may not be, it may be, but according to you.
I understand. Whether Nagas should leave the demand for sovereignty and then accept something, if you read very carefully the framework agreement of 3rd August 2015 and agreed position of 17 November 2017, those people who were demanding sovereignty, they have realized that under the present contemporary political context, this is not possible. That is the reason why they also have signed these two agreements minus sovereignty as one. If you recollect, 29 February 2012, when the Maharashtra meeting was coming and agri expo by the underground, actually it was convened by a reconciliation group, but all leaders of the underground were there, and I think 15,000 people from Manipur state also, and Maharashtra meeting was held and agri expo at that time. And what late General Kohli read on behalf of the underground, and I quote, Mr. Moiva is honest. Mr. Moiva is bold, courageous. He told us that because of international situation, independence is not possible. Because of the attitude, policy of Indian government and Myanmar government, integration also not possible. Unquote. Those people themselves also have realized that in the national context, obviously, a tiny state with the resources within two giants is not to live alone. So in their own wisdom and with their political foresight, they have, I think, appended their signatures to the respective agreements already made with the government of India. And therefore, I don't like to make any comment whether it is possible or whether it is impossible, whether we should accept or not. No. We have representative, Naga representative this underground, whatever they have signed, it is signed in the best interest of the Naga people and government of India, and which is only possible under the present contemporary political realities. That much I can say. Whether we pursue it, it is not my business to tell you about it. Do you think that it's time to review 16-point agreement to solve Naga problem, political problem? Honestly, I can tell you, 16-point is not a hurdle in resolution of Naga problem. That is the reason why, despite 16-point agreement, which is already a part of the Constitution of India, Government of India has agreed to have further negotiation to resolve Naga political problem. And therefore, whatever was done by the representative of Naga underground in signing the two agreements, they have signed it. While signing, they might have started this 16-point agreement also. And when they sign, whether it is above or below, we don't know. We have not seen the competencies which they have drawn up. But I believe it will be better than what we have. That's not much I can say. But 16-point is never a hurdle. Had it been a hurdle, Government they would have said no. But they say, come on, whatever you want to say, say. Negotiate 20 years talking, it's not a matter of joke. So whatever they have discussed during these 20 years, I think all the problems which were even hidden might have been discussed and made bare before the Government of India and among themselves also. That's what.
It has been a pleasure to have with us Padma Bhushan Dr. Jamir as our special guest today. With his presence, the day has become historic for us. A man who could speak about the Naga issues, Naga problems, even about the role of media on this special day of National Press Day. Thank you, sir, for your presence. We would also hope to have you in future in such interactions. You have answered most of our questions, most of our doubts regarding the critical situation of the state, especially the Naga political issue. Many of us, the journalists, especially the younger ones, they have been enlightened with the knowledge you have shared today. I would also like to thank the editors who are present on this occasion, the members of the press club, the other journalists who are yet to become the members, the TV channels, and all those people who have helped us in making the program successful. Once again, I thank Dr. Jamir for his presence today. Thank you.